Hey everyone, how you doing? If you are new here, I'm Nicol Concilio and welcome to the video, y'all. Today we are going to be doing an updated brow routine. I haven't done one on my channel in probably years at this point. Like, I cannot remember even the last time I sat down and did my brows on camera. So I'm really excited to be sitting down here today and doing this. This is not a sponsored video. This is just like my new and current routine. And the reason I say that is because I do use a lot of Benefit products, like if not all Benefit products. So I just want to make it known that this is not a sponsored video. Okay, so first I wanted to give you guys a look of like what it looks like when I fill my brows in versus before. I have a lot of really sparse hairs. Specifically, my sparseness problem is like up here. Like, I should have more brow hairs up here, but I don't. And I'm gonna let you guys in on a little tip, a little trick of how I actually fixed my brows because, oof, girl, when I first started YouTube, I had those Jersey Shore 2006 brows, okay? They were like a line, literally a line. It's taken me a really long time to just even feel comfortable on camera doing my brows because my brows have always, in my opinion, been my hardest feature to tackle. It definitely was one of the things makeup wise that I was the worst at, like at least starting out. I feel like I've definitely gotten better at it now, and I'm definitely a lot more confident in my eyebrows just in general. As you guys can see, like this brow is pretty much, she's doing pretty good. I just did a little cleanup down here and I trimmed my brows. Now my favorite type of brow scissors is from Tweezerman, and actually this is part of the Huda Beauty collection, but you can get any tweezers from Tweezerman or any scissor from Tweezerman. Those are usually my go-to. The tweezer I use, I have this tweezer right here, which has a light on it. And then I also have this one with a bunch of lips on it. I don't know. Oh yeah, this is part of the Huda collection. I definitely think that using a good tweezer and good tools helps the process a lot. The number one product that I get asked about the most is the brow product that has helped me bring my brows back to life. And that is this guy right here, the Browvo Conditioning Primer. This right here, I'm going to show you guys how to use and the best way I recommend to use it because it is a difficult product to tackle. I recommend, this is the way that I like to apply it. I'll put it in the areas that are the most sparse first. So that's always going to be from this point to the tail. And when I twist the product, you can see I get a decent amount of product. It's not good to apply it right away. So I just put it on the back of my hand, kind of like diluting the product and pushing it a little bit more through these like little plastic bristles. And I kind of brush my brow hairs upwards. You definitely don't have to do this part, but I find that like brushing them upwards definitely helps to just show me where I need the most help. And then after that, I just rub whatever is left in the product through the rest of my brows. Now be warned, this is a product that makes your brow hairs crunchy. It leaves a little bit of residue. Like, it's definitely not like, you know, a pretty product. Like, you gotta work with it. But for the most part, this bitch has single-handedly saved my eyebrows. Single-handedly. When I'm going to sleep at night, what I like to do is then really add a lot and apply a lot because there is such like I guess, what's the word? Like a chunkiness to it. Like it gets really stiff. Because there is a stiffness to it, I do a very thin layer right before I apply my eyebrows. And you know what? It's just a good little prep step. It's a good little habit to get in the routine of because the more you use this product, the more your brows are going to get fuller and the more they're going to grow and all that stuff. So it's kind of like a little ritual, if you will. So while I'm letting this dry, I start to kind of brush my brow hairs upwards. I have really naturally curly eyebrows, so I have to do what I can to make them look the best way that they possibly can. Right over here, you see, is where I have some sparseness going on. I'm not really sure what, that may have been a me error, like because I'm not normally that sparse right there. That could have been me getting a little bit tweezer happy when I'm a little, you know, wine drunk, get a little tweezer happy. But for the most part, if you just kind of like brush your brows through it, you're not gonna feel I guess the stiffness as much. So that's why I kind of just say keep brushing your brow hairs, and that's that. So I brush my brow hairs upwards because they're curly. If I don't, they kind of like curl and do weird things. So this is how I personally have to do my eyebrows. Thank you, Italian Jeans. Now the eyebrow product that I'm going to be using to fill in my brows is from Morphe. You guys know I have a discount code with Morphe. It's a win-win for both of us because you guys get the discount, I get a little commission. It's Nicol in all caps at the checkout, or you can use it in any Morphe store at the checkout. This brush is called the Morphe M158. It's a really good eyebrow brush, and I think that this brush has been one of the reasons why my eyebrow game has been so strong lately. And not to like toot my own horn, because I even feel like a little sketchy, like paranoid saying that, because I know my brows are not my best feature. So moving forward, I used to fill in my eyebrows with pencil, and I actually switched back to using a pomade. I'm not normally a pomade type of girl, but I've been able to make the shape of my brows the way I want to a little bit better with the pomade. So I go in and use Benefits Ka-Brow. The packaging is a little much for me, and it does come like with its own little brush that the cap unscrews, and you can kind of like apply it like that. But honestly, I don't think if you want to have like slayed brows, snatched brows, I wouldn't recommend using this brush. If emergency situations where you forget an eyebrow brush, yes, this will work. But for the most part, I'm always using this Morphe brush. And this is what the pomade looks like inside. I use shade number 3, and they call it a cream gel brow. It's basically like a pomade. And what I've been doing that I think has really changed my routine is spraying a little bit of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water into the little brow pomade and just like misting it, not going crazy, not going whatever, but it gets the formula a lot more flexible and movable. And I even have put it on my brush before in the past, and I kind of just coat both sides of the brush when I do so. When we start to do our brows, my first step that I do is underlining them. Once I have that line underneath, it changes everything for me, because from there on out, I'm able to really see the shape, and I don't really have any problems growing hair here. In fact, it's almost like too much sometimes. So I like to, get a nice little sharp definitive line on the bottom. So first what I'm going to do is I kind of just start, not necessarily in the beginning, not necessarily in the middle, not necessarily in the end, but like somewhere right here, because this is where my eyebrows are the thickest, and I want to make sure I got that all lined up. So I'm going to start right here and just start creating this line. And a lot of it is like doing feathery strokes. Like you don't have to do this all in one line, because you're not gonna get it all in one line. And then moving to the front, that's how I like to do it. I'll go like this, and then use the actual brush itself, and then just flick upward, kind of create my own little brow hairs in the front. I don't like to have that definitive line in the very beginning of my eyebrows, because I do feel like that's where it really looks fake, or it looks really overdrawn, or like, you know what I mean? It's just not the style that I prefer. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's like kind of just how I like to do my brows. And then a lot of this is just like flicking motions, and also keeping your brush clean is very key. If you feel like the product is getting stiff on the brush, if you feel like you're having problems manipulating it, definitely keep wiping off your brush. That is like the number one tip I can give you when working with a pomade. And then just kind of from that end point, just kind of following it down. So just like that. And then I always have to extend my tail, because a good rule of thumb, your tail should reach diagonally with the outer corner of your eye. So like I usually like to do it about that. That's like a good rule of thumb. You don't have to do it like that. That's getting hella technical, but just, just kind of giving you guys little guidelines to go by. And then since it's kind of like a little harsh looking, I'm going to go ahead and kind of smooth it out, attach the two lines we did together, and just start to fill in from the bottom, because once you get that done, it's going to be a million times easier and just better in general for you to see where we're going with it. Okay, so now that the under part is looking pretty good, we're gonna start and go ahead with outlining the top. it depends on like what my brows are doing that day. Sometimes I can go in and just slay and get the edge as perfect as I want, that arch perfect. But other times I have to kind of like trace it along the way. I get a little too ahead of myself. Brows are difficult. They're freaking difficult. Why do you think they're everybody's insecurity? Because they're freaking difficult. And a lot of the YouTubers that are like, you know, popping right now, they grew up like in a time, like we all grew up in a time where thin brows were the thing to have. So, you know, I think we're all kind of regrowing. So I'm going to go ahead and start from like right about here and just, you know, make a little top part for the brows. Start filling in the top. And again, I'm not trying to go too crazy here because this is where my eyebrows are the fullest. This is where they are pretty good. So as you guys can see, just adding that line, it just makes such a difference, and it makes it a lot easier to do the rest of the brows. Oof. You know what I mean? Because once you get a nice little map of everything going on, and then I'm just like randomly filling in the brow as well, like just kind of going in and adding strokes wherever I think I need it. Like brush your brow hairs downwards, brush them upwards, like see where you need to fill in. Don't be afraid to like play around with it, because just by brushing that down, like it released a huge bald spot, you know? So you want to just make sure you have everything filled in. Now for the arch. Some people like a boxy arch, some people like a rounded arch, a curved arch. I like to do a little bit of a variation of the two. Like this eyebrow today came out perfect. That's the reason why I didn't wipe this one off, because this is normally my shit brow and I can normally do this brow good. So I'm gonna go in and just kind of like that. A lot of this is letting the brush do the work for you. And if you have a good brush, now I'm not saying all of Morphe's brushes are good. I totally get it, but this brush is really good, you guys. Like, I really like it, and it like pretty much did the whole damn thing for me. All I had to do was move it. So now just gonna be filling it in, and I kind of like to stamp when I fill it in. I don't want to get like too crazy, so I stamp it. But you can also, like, you know, do strokes, however way you want to do it. I actually learned a stamping technique from my good friend Alex Faction when he did my Halloween makeup. A lot of artists, like, it's really impossible to make things symmetrical, and if you do, my hat is off to you. But Alex taught me a lot of it is just like stamping and having a good shaped brush. So that's why I keep expressing my Italian showing. That's why I keep expressing the importance of a brush. All right, so I feel like this is pretty good. I also do like to leave, like, you know, it's not perfectly filled in. I really do like to leave a little bit of sparseness because I do want the illusion of more natural looking brows. Even though I know some of you at home are probably looking at this and you're like, bitch, how could that be natural? But for me, for someone who does like full glam on the reg, this is a pretty natural brow for me. All right, so moving on. Oh, and I definitely recommend when you're done with the brush, take a makeup wipe remover, take whatever the hell you want, because you want to keep the brush clean. That's definitely another tip. And then the last product I use, and it's also another Benefit one. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I really just love Benefit brows. I tried so hard. I was like, what other, I don't even know what else I could include, because I really like Benefit these days. So this is, let me introduce it before I start to use it. This is a 3D Browtones. I use shade 2 in this, and then in the Ka-Brow, I use shade 3. Now, the reason that I use this instead of like a brow gel or a brow setter, whatever the hell you want to call it, is because this is almost like adding highlights to your brow hairs. When you use a pomade or a pencil or whatever, it kind of can make your brow hairs look flat, and I really like the 3-dimensional looking brows, so that is why I use a little bit of a shade lighter, and it just really livens up the brows. It kind of gives them hope again. It kind of gives them structure, natural balance. Yeah, see? Like, that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and use this for over here too. But yeah, it just kind of adds highlights. And for me, my hair color is like 17 different colors going on right now. So, you know, it just looks a little bit more natural, a little bit more like, oh wow, that is her brows. You know what I mean? More than just like that flat brow, like that no dimension at all. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this updated brow routine. Sorry for like chiacchieroning it up and talking your guys' ears up. Chiacchierone means chatterbox in Italian. Italian slang, should I say. Yeah, I felt like I needed to say all that to explain everything. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up, and leave me a comment down below what are your holy grail brow products at the moment, because I do want to test out some more brow products, but also if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of vibe. So yeah, I hope you guys like it, and I will see you next video. Bye!